Hello, everyone. Emily with Just Ask Em and co-host Winnie. Hi, Winnie. It's beautiful. Not wearing shoes. Got my little Converse socks, close enough. Sipping on a homemade little mimosa on Monday morning. Mimosa Monday could be a thing. So welcome to episode 11. Okay. Talking about business because it's what I love and the difference between efficiency and rushing. And I know this very well simply because I'll never forget my one teacher told me, slow down, stop rushing, because then you make careless mistakes. And over time that resonated with me because, rushing creates double work. Nobody likes double work. Double work is exhausting. It wastes a lot of time. You start to just do things without intention or clarity, and that's probably one of the best lessons I could have taken the time to learn, probably after too many times of hitting my head against the wall and maybe not catching on soon enough. But everything happens for a reason, and I feel like everything you do learn still happens in its time. And learning to not rush can actually benefit in almost every area in your life, whether it's, with education, with a career, with a relationship, finances or budgeting, and trying to get that on track if that's something, you're in the process of doing, or it's something you have to constantly maintain. And I think it's so important to just really figure out, what am I trying to do? What am I trying to accomplish? What do I want my goal to be? And how can I make this happen the most effective way possible while fulfilling the purpose, being intentional, and not only having an understanding of the goal you're trying to accomplish, but staying true to yourself in the sense of what your original vision is and staying true to it through so many different, outside influences, opinions, suggestions, whatever it may be. And there's not an opposition to somebody who might have a word of advice, something to suggest that might be helpful. Absolutely not. But at times, some advice or some people's opinions could be good based on their journey, but not necessarily what your vision might be. So it's also important to make sure that the person who is, having a suggestion, giving you advice, whatever the case may be, that they actually understand your vision and what you are trying to accomplish and do through whatever it is, you're trying to create or do. And one of the biggest things I learned, starting my first business back in May of 2023 was I knew I wanted that to have longevity. Prior to that, I've worked every job you can think of. If I didn't like something, after 3 months, after 6 months, I was like, well, I don't got to be here. I will go on and find a new job. And I said, okay, it's great that I can do that and I don't have to put up with, what I don't like or what I'm not happy doing. But it got exhausting, to just keep starting over. I'm like, this isn't healthy. This isn't good. This isn't realistic long term. So what is something that I can see myself doing for me that's going to sustain an income or providing me a life that I don't have to be financially stressed about, but I don't have to be stressed doing the work either. And when I came up with the small event planning business, I said, I love creativity, I love design, I love customized, I love being able to give people peace of mind in the areas they might not know could be easier. And I gathered so much from what I once used to think was a negative thing, as far as, oh my God, I've had so many jobs in this year or over the years. Oh my God, it looks terrible having all these W-2s, and I've worked here, and there. And then I had to identify, okay, is the problem me, or is the problem I'm just not doing what I'm meant to do? And that's why I keep still starting out at this high, but then getting to a point that I'm unhappy doing what I'm doing, because it's just not in my purpose. It's just not, my destiny. And the more I took the time to identify that, I had to slow down to be able to identify that and really sit here and say, what is my reality going to be for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Because corporate America isn't it for me. I got to work to at least 60, 65. Lord knows what that'll look like in the future. So what is something that I can do that isn't going to keep me in a toxic environment, have me miserable going to work day in, day out, and feel like I'm just on autopilot going through life? I said, I know I have so much potential. I know I have great ideas, and there's a lot of things I'm good at and that I know I can do that can help people and make a difference. And I really just needed that opportunity. And it took me slowing down and really figuring that out and deciding I can't keep complaining about it and then not do anything about it. Because I said, I'm just going to make myself miserable and make for an unhappy life. So when I took the bold step to just be like, you know what? I didn't feel like I had much to lose at that point if I started it. And I said, let's just see where this goes. Let's see where it takes me. I'm a fast learner. I'm a visual learner. There's inspiration literally everywhere. The access that we have to networking, social media, just talking with people. The power of talking, you learn so much. Fast forward to now, the power of literally just walking up to somebody or somebody walking up to you, whether it's over a drink, over eating, or just a compliment. I've seen so many conversations turn into things that you would have never expected. And I always joke and say, I like people, but I don't. But when you surround yourself with the right people who understand how your brain works, what your vision is, the type of person you are, maybe areas that they can help you in that you might not even know you need help in. There's such a difference in that social battery. Like your energy is just different. And I knew in that moment, I said, if I keep walking into these jobs, miserable, catty environments, toxic, open door policy, but then when you go to them to try to talk about something, it's in one ear and out the other the minute you walk out the door. And there's such a lack of passion in corporate America, because at the end of the day, depending on the business that they have, they're going to be in business one way or another. You can do a review, you can do this and that. If they're a big business or they're in the medical field, as long as there is somebody who requires or is in need of that service, whether the customer service is good or bad, you most likely, as that one person who is just a number, will not make a genuine difference. Unless you know some people in higher places or have some kind of entitlement to complain and say something and effectively receive difference after. I accepted that. I realized I was just like, I'm not going to make a difference in these things. Why am I even trying to make a difference in these offices anyway, knowing darn well I ain't going to be here no 5, 10 years. So what's the point of investing, this energy and passion and trying to improve and change for the better and do things better when the top of the chain They didn't even care to do so. I said, that's a losing battle. I was going to be running up against that wall for forever and ever, draining myself with no real personal benefit and satisfaction except for theirs. It didn't make sense. It didn't. So with that being said, I had a business call today. What made you want to become an entrepreneur? Nobody can say I haven't tried. I've literally tried every job from retail to bank teller, receptionist, administrative assistant, front desk at a hotel, medical assistant in several specialty offices, dental assistant, design consultant. I have tried it and like I said, I used to look at that as a negative until I realized that was actually going to become a strength later on. A strength in the sense of identifying what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what I care to do, what I don't care to do, what my niche is, and what just simply isn't. And I'm okay with what isn't because I don't want to do it all. I want to do what I know I'm good at, the strengths that I have, which also stemmed into my business models of I love hosting, I love concierge, I love coordinating, I love planning, I love organizing and giving people that peace of mind because it's what I'm good at. When it comes to food, photography, DJ, decor, whatever, I don't care to do it. It's not that I can't, I just don't want to. But that's also a way to outsource vendors and support local. So I've always had this bigger picture vision, and I was so tired of keeping it at the ceiling because, oh, well, that's too hard. Well, that's never going to be a reality. Oh, you won't make money in that. Well, you got the safe option is Monday through Friday. You get your pay, you get your benefits, your 401k, and then you retire and dip out. That sounds miserable to me. There ain't no way in hell I'm doing that 20, 30, 40 years. Like, no, it just wasn't it for me. So I say that to say, I knew I would be good in one way or another doing entrepreneurship because I had the drive, I had the motivation, I have the consistency, I have the organization. I always used to try to help out managers and coworkers and say, if you have a process for almost anything, you will be guaranteed to succeed. But you have to sit down, identify what the process needs to be, organize it, execute, and you're great. Like, as long as you are prepared, as long as you are organized, that in itself has such a power to reduce you scrambling, shuffling, not doing good under pressure. If something changes or something shifts, now you're like showing it in your body language and, being under pressure. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I used to, in so many jobs, I used to be like, rushing or my personal feelings when a customer would get snippy and, oh my God. Fast forward, I was actually grateful for the slightly rude customers because they taught me lessons along the way of slow down. You don't got to rush. It's okay. Everybody's new. Everybody starts somewhere. Everybody makes mistakes, and sometimes you can't win them all. Sometimes you just got miserable people that you're just not going to make happy. It's a losing battle. You did your best. Hey, then that's that. Move on. And the minute I stopped taking things personal, the minute I had an understanding of some people have a reason to just be upset, or maybe they're just having a bad day and it's not a personal attack on you. They might have just, got a ticket parked somewhere just trying to get to their doctor's appointment and, now they're frustrated and it seems like they're taking it out on you. We're human. We have emotions. We're allowed to feel those emotions. We're allowed to be upset, have bad days, be off, be super excited and happy, even if somebody else isn't. But I think it's just a matter of when you identify that and being okay with it, but also having an understanding. If you are going to be in customer service, you got to know what you're signing up for. You just have to. The customer service these days, that'll probably be a whole nother episode because it can be. But that's that. So I say that to say it was actually a benefit working in all those different customer service and client industries because I have no fear of handling somebody in a retail setting, an office setting, a medical setting. As a design consultant, you got people with money well spent. They want what they want, how they want it. You have to have a patience and understanding for that, but as well as a respect for the money that they're investing in the company that you're working for, or you, because money is hard to come by these days. They deserve to be slightly, picky and choosy, because if they're spending thousands, if you were spending thousands, how would you be? And now if you have a person who's sitting there huffing and puffing or seemingly like they're annoyed because, that person wants perfection, you would want perfection. So I say all that to say, that was always my mindset in anything I did. Any type of job I had, I always had a pride in what I did. I also think the fault was I was such a good visual learner and I learned things too quick. And then after a certain point, I just wasn't stimulated anymore. And then I lost interest. And then I just didn't like the job anymore. That was another thing I had to identify. I'm pretty sure I got ADHD, OCD, I got some anxiety, perfectionist, whatever it may be. I'm aware of those things. I identify them. I accept it, but I've learned how to channel them. And this is the part of not rushing that process, because if I was still continuing to rush that process, I would have made so many mistakes at this point, relationship wise, career wise, financially, like mentally, emotionally. So when I learned, okay, slowing down. Oh, okay. Now I got more clarity. Now I got better decision making. Oh, okay. Oh, now I'm letting things kind of happen a little more naturally. Oh, now I'm understanding why that thing didn't work out or happen the way I thought it should have. Okay. Now I see certain things falling into place, but if they would have fell into place when I forced them to, the outcome wouldn't have been the same as me letting it fall into place naturally. And now I see how well it's working out. So all those things, it's just like, I am very efficient, very, very efficient. And sometimes I have to catch myself and be like, okay, it's turning into rushing. So efficiency and rushing are two very different things. Rushing, you create more unnecessary, careless mistakes. Now you're creating double work because you were rushing. Now you still have to go back, fix it, and redo it the right way. Whereas efficiency is having an organized process, being prepared. What am I trying to do? If it's an event, if it's, some type of meeting, whatever the case may be, if it's a trip, the best thing to do is visualize what you want to happen and see from start to finish, and then work backwards. Okay, what would I need for this to happen? What would this require for it to look that way? And when you slow your mind down enough to think of all those details and things, you're more prepared. You're more organized. When the event is actually happening, whatever the case may be, travel, work event, dinner, meeting, whatever the case is, you actually have more of a peace of mind while it's happening, to allow yourself to have this level of clarity to mess up less, to be stressed less. If something comes up and is changing, now it's not this thing that you didn't prepare for, and now the new thing that, oh my God, fell through or changed last minute. And you're not going to be able to control everything. I had to learn that. As much as I like to be controlling and perfect everything, this and that, it is not a reality. It is impossible. As organized, prepared, and consistent as I am, you will not and you cannot control everything. And I was aware of having a slight anxiety of always wanting to do that. I'm like, no, I can do it. And I had to learn, okay, I don't necessarily have to do things the quickest to be efficient, or I don't have to do things the quickest to be accomplished or to succeed. You actually succeed more when you slow down just a little bit and understand, what am I trying to execute? What do I want to see accomplished? Okay, what is the purpose and outcome of this thing that I'm planning or that is supposed to happen? And when you do that, it creates a calmness, because you're like, okay, I got my ducks in a row. So when this happens, that's already set. And if anything else comes up, I'm going to be able to have a little more bandwidth of, stress level or high pressure or mental capacity to now be able to face it without tripping over my own feet. Now, okay, this came up. All right, let me try to figure something else out. Or, okay, let me figure out how to fix this. So you got to be quick on your feet as an entrepreneur. But like I said, just that difference of not rushing, but being efficient, being proficient, being proactive in the sense of the biggest lesson I had to understand, like none of this happens nothing good, nothing worth it happens overnight. Nothing easy is worth it. And if I have to, if I can get it that easily and not work for it, it's going to make me question, like, that might be too good to be true or not the best decision that I can make. So just, I want to sip of this mimosa. I know that. I've had so many guest podcasts. They're usually talking, and that's when I sneak my sip in. But, now it's just me talking. But, so that's just really part of my journey is just, even on my episode 9 with David from Q, which I think is going to be a phenomenal opportunity for, that Buffalo needs to just help really bring people together. I feel like there's so many people here that do amazing things and a lot of people don't have a clue about that could connect on so many levels. But, even talking with him, he kept repeating it where he's just like, none of that happened overnight. That's a years project. And I admired him for having the patience to kind of allow the natural timeline to occur without kind of trying to control it too much, how he thought it should happen or what should happen next. But he allowed it to evolve. But one of the biggest things he mentioned was actually getting to know himself. Being okay within himself, knowing him, how he ticks, that what makes him happy, and that really is, the more I go through life, I understand how important that is. Once again, whether it's business, whether it's friendships, relationships, work, whatever the case may be, it's just like you are this central unit. It's like you are the base. And that's why mental awareness, emotional care, self-care, all those things are so important, because the better those are within you, everything else is just an attachment. Everyone else is just an attachment. All these things around us, all these things, luxuries and material things that we have that we don't even need half of them. Reality is, if they were stripped away from us, we wouldn't die. We would just have to adapt and readjust. We would be okay. We would literally be okay. Don't take my food and water, because that's a different story. But, all the material things we have and the fabulousness and the fashion and the cars and the homes and the jewelry and the this and that, if it was all stripped away because that's how life was at one point, we would not crumble and die. You would feel that way if your mental wasn't on point. So at the end of the day, that's why it is just that important to take care of your physical, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual. Because when those are all in tune, there is nothing that you cannot accomplish. There is so much that you are able to do because you feel better. Your mind is right. So now you can tackle these things even when stuff doesn't go right, because stuff does not go right all the time. And I am proud of myself at the stage that I am today, because I see myself react differently. I see myself control my emotions in a way that I never thought I would have seen, in this moment that I'm seeing it occur. And my clarity, my decision making, like I still struggle with certain things. And, I'm blessed with a great man who has the temperament that I need, the patience from God that helps me have confidence in myself to be like, you don't got to get so worked up. You don't got to get so upset. This is not the end of the world. Just because this thing didn't work out, it doesn't mean that the next won't work out. And the more I speak to myself, speak to my mind, these podcasts, this is me speaking to myself at the same time. Because in one form or another, you got to figure out how you're going to stay motivated. If it ain't your friends or family or your significant other speaking to you, you got to speak to yourself sometimes. That's just how it is. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're serious about it, and you have a genuine respect for your passion, you are going to be walking alone more times than not. You just are. That's why your inner energy, your aura, what you exude, there is such an importance in handling that with a fragile love and care. Because people fail you, family fails you, things fail you. It's just a reality. There's no avoiding it. But what you do have control of is how you react to it, how you let it affect you, how far you let it drag you. Even when you are discouraged and you feel like, what am I even doing this for? Why am I even with this person? Why am I doing this or that? When you maintain, there's a saying for the reason, anything you put your mind to, you can accomplish it. Because when your mind is right, when you speak to your mind in positive ways, whatever it is you believe in, meditating, praying, spiritual, whatever the case may be. I'm Christian. I believe in God, and God is a real thing to me, because everything I've done and accomplished, can't nobody tell me that something above doesn't exist, because I would never have been able to do this on my own strength at all. I amaze myself sometimes with the amount of things I'm able to keep organized and accomplish and actually stay consistent with, because I have to take care of my spirit. I got to take care of my mental. I got to continue to work on, my physical and my emotional. And when I do get upset and when something doesn't go the way that I want it to, because those are the things that carry me through it. There are days I don't want to get out this bed. Yeah, I wish I could just be in bed all day with Winnie, who lives her best life, even though she ain't paying no bills. I wish I could do that, but that is not a reality yet. But if I want it to be a reality one day, I have to slow down. I have to identify my purpose. What am I doing? Why am I trying to do it? And who am I trying to help? What change am I trying to make? And when you identify those things, you actually strengthen the reason you're waking up to have that purpose and fulfill that destiny. So it's not necessarily about rushing or, doing the most. Less is more. Less is more. And sometimes you just don't have to do so much to look like you're successful or you're doing it big time. Last thing I'm going to say. Just because you may have had a business for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and you are successful, that does not mean that just because you have a business, you are a good business person. How many businesses have been around for years and years and years? The management is trash. The customer service is trash. You have the audacity to be rude and have a stank attitude with me when I'm choosing to spend my money here is crazy. And that's why small business owners and entrepreneurs are taking over. But the most important with the entrepreneur and the difference is, an entrepreneur, you're building it from the ground up. There's no HR, there's no payroll. You might not necessarily have a team. You might not have a office you can walk into and complain to the man. Like, it is you. And when it is only you, you have a different mindset, you have a different perspective and a respect, because you know how hard it is for you to build everything that you're building. And milestone after milestone, year after year, when it is successful, when you do see yourself progress, when you do listen to your clients, have a respect for your customers, whatever your industry may be, that is the difference that is exuded as an entrepreneur. Because it's your reputation, you're the face of the company. Everything you built, it's not worth ruining over bad customer service, over trying to overcharge and get your money, but have the sale go bad. Now people don't even want to continue to go to you anymore. Good business can be with somebody who's had business for a year, like it could be good business with somebody who's had a business for 50 years. But the amount of years does not reflect how well you do business. And I do feel like there is a shift as far as what corporate America is becoming. These bigger businesses, it's tiring to keep spending money because you're the only type of business that does that's around, but it's a terrible experience. No, like that is not okay. And I feel like supporting local is growing rapidly, but it's growing rapidly with good reason, in the sense of smaller business, better customer service, probably a better quality product. Those are the things that matter most. And even if I've been, I could officially say, okay, I started my business 2 years ago. Even if you've only been in business 3, 4, 5 years, whatever the case may be, your progress is exactly what it should be or where it should be. And just because you might not be as far ahead or progressing as the person who's been in business 10 years, you probably wouldn't want to be, because 10 years of business, you probably want to sit down and ask them, hi, what did that entail? And it would probably be a whole lot than what you would be prepared to endure of where you are. That's why your journey is your journey. And as long as you stay true to yourself, you stay true to your vision, what your purpose is, how you want to fulfill your destiny, what your goal is, what you want to accomplish, what change you want to make, how you want to help people. As long as you stay true to that, the rest falls into place. The people who are meant to be in your path will cross your path when it's meant to be. The big breaks or the big things that, bring you money abundantly or success, because not, everything is money based. Success doesn't only mean how much money you're making. Those things will happen in its time when it's meant to be. Because if we were where we are to be 5 years from this point, 10 years from this point, if we were handed it right now all at once, we probably wouldn't know what to do with it. We probably wouldn't cherish it the way that we were supposed to. And when you start to look at things like that more as a journey versus a race, it helps you slow down enough to be like, hey, I'm not there yet, but I can't wait till I get there. Okay, that person is there. Let me get to know them. How'd you get there? What did it take to get there? Those are the beautiful parts of the journey. And when I started to change my mindset and look at things like that in any part of life, I'm at a really good place and have a lot of peace that I never thought I would actually see or be experiencing it. And this is only the beginning. So if I feel this good now, that's definitely waking me up more and more every day to stay consistent, to stay motivated, to keep working towards what I'm working for. And if it takes a little longer than others, that is okay, because I'm still going to be great in my own way. And I might not be everybody's cup of tea, and that's still okay, because I'm not here to people please. I'm not here to have the most. I don't want the most, but I do want quality. I do want passion. I do want respect. I want genuine support. So slowing down is not a bad thing. It's not delaying your progress. It's helping you be exactly where you need to be when you need to be there. So that is my blurb on efficiency versus rushing. I am so humbled. I am so grateful to even be able to say I am at episode 11. I am super grateful for everyone who has simply given me the opportunity, who has taken the chance to, take a chance on me, be on my podcast. I am a newbie at this. My creativity comes as I go. I learn as I go, as with anything and anybody. So I'm just super grateful. I feel super blessed. I love the amount of things that I'm learning from everybody, and I hope to continue to keep learning. As you may have seen on one of my recent posts, I do 30-minute episodes. There's no opposition to any topic that you might want to talk about, whether it is business, educational, inspirational, beneficial to somebody, spreading the word on something. That's the platform I want to create. I only charge $30 for a 30-minute episode. I edit it. You see what my editing entails. I post it for you. And you're more than welcome to personal use after I've posted it on my YouTube channel. At the end of the day, whether it's my podcast or anybody's small business or entrepreneur, a service is a service. And even more as entrepreneurship, this is people's time. Depending if they're offering products, it's their product. If they're coming to you or whatever the case is, and it's a mobile service, it's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work. So whether you're friends or family, whatever the case may be, stop trying to get the family discount, because the effort that they're putting into that service or product that they're selling or giving is not given with a discount. So time is valuable. So if you or anyone are giving time, or if it's me doing an episode with somebody, that's time invested. And I think I've shown enough with all my businesses that anything I do, I never half-ass it. I do it genuinely, authentically, and passionately. I'm always going to make sure I make you look good and I look good doing it for others. You know, it's so, like I said, anybody who's taking a chance on me, that's reputation. I appreciate it, because sometimes you can't just show up for anything and everything. You just can't. But I hope you continue to tune in. Please subscribe to my channel. This is Just Ask Em, and I hope you keep watching. Cheers.